For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. Welcome to The Scribble, everybody. How's it going today? We've got lots to talk about. You know, the Oscars are handed out Sunday night, and so we have got our friend Nancy O'Dell, host of Entertainment Tonight, joining us in the second half of this show, giving us a rundown of the surprises, the snubs when it comes to nominations, making some predictions, and what she's looking forward to. And I have a hunch it's going to include Lady Gaga. I just, if you've been listening to this show or our syndicated radio shows or checking out speakfreecelebwatch.com, our celebrity interview website, you know that Nancy joins us throughout the award show season and she loves Lady Gaga. So I just have this feeling she's rooting for Lady Gaga. We'll talk with Nancy coming up in just a few minutes. But first, Jussie Smollett. Are you sick of hearing the name already? Here's the deal. I'm an entertainment reporter, so any sort of dramatic or scandalous story when it comes to celebrities, I live for that. That's my job, right? If there wasn't stuff like that happening, I would have nothing to talk about on our entertainment show every day, right? So the Jussie Smollett case, to me, is one of these things that it's fascinating to watch as a reporter, but then when it comes to just being a human being, a decent human being, you look at somebody and go, wow, you really effed up big time. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to give my thought. Everybody's got an opinion on his case, right? I'm going to tell you my thoughts when we come back right here on The Scribble.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here, back on The Scribble. Everybody is still talking about Jussie Smollett. Now, I did some thinking during that really quick commercial break. I'm kind of sick of hearing the name and hearing about the story. But, again, like I said, during being an entertainment reporter, it's one of those things where I'm sitting there going, what is going to happen next? This is getting delicious. And it started to... Now, I can't say that I thought it was a hoax from the very beginning, right? But there were some things, for me anyway, that seemed a little bit strange. If you were beaten and had bleach poured on you and everything like that, why didn't you look worse than you did? First off, right? Okay, so that came to my mind. And then secondly, if they're pouring bleach, wouldn't it be all on your face? Now, granted, I haven't poured bleach on my face, so I don't know what that's going to do, but I think that you might have a little bit more injury, more injury showing on your face. And then, unless you argue and say, well, they poured it on my clothing. Well, okay, great. So they ruined your t-shirt? What would be the point of that? Why would I'm not going to come running up to you and throw bleach on your shoes. What's that going to do, right? I think the purpose, if it's a real attack, not that you should do this, but I think you'd throw it in somebody's face or something, wouldn't you? So that seemed a little bit strange that, it's this vicious beating and then suddenly he looks okay a couple days later. It was a little bit odd to me. And then another thing that just seemed really suspect was how he didn't turn over his phone to the cops. He was being sketchy. He gave a PDF of his phone records. My thing is, you know what? I'm going to have, whatever kind of pictures. I've never taken half-naked selfies, so that's not what I'm saying. But I'm going to have things that, people have sent me or whatever. I'm going to be more concerned about you finding the two bastards that did this to me. Okay, so maybe you've got Jeff Bezos dick pics on my phone or whatever it is. That's the least of my concerns. I'm going to say, here, take what you need, figure this out, get these people behind bars. That's just me. And so it did seem a little bit strange to me there. And then again, like I said, then sort of the writing is on the wall, and as we know, the story has unfolded. So, and that's the tough thing about being an entertainment reporter, is that on our morning headline show called Entertainment Wrap Up, we tape it first thing in the morning, and just on Thursday, like right now, it's Friday morning, February 22nd, but by the time you're listening to this, maybe in the afternoon or even in the evening, the story could already have like 14 new developments. And what's interesting is that, he was arrested, he was released on $100,000 bail, his passport was taken away, yet he still claims innocence after all this. Police have already said, like, we've got text messages, we've got the check that you wrote the brothers that did this. There's so much proof, but he's still maintaining his innocence. And I guess that the funny thing to me is that he went and blamed MAGA, right? Trump supporters, MAGA people, and called them racist and homophobic or whatever. But he's almost kind of doing what Donald Trump himself does, which is deny, 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 even though you're being shown the proof. Here, look at your texts. Here's the check you wrote these guys. Look, here's whatever. And you're still denying it. And secondly, then why would you even hire a crisis PR crisis management company at that point? If you're innocent and you've got nothing to hide, why do you need crisis PR? So it was, there were a whole bunch of things just didn't add up. And, even his lawyers had released a statement on Wednesday night. Still not even really, it's hard to say. Like, they feel like, or he feels like he's been abused in this whole thing and he's the victim here. And it's like, as more and more is coming out, like, we've got the video of these guys going and buying the stuff that you had on you. Like, it's just, and I understand what people are saying. There's really nothing that he can do right now to save face, right? Like, they say that there's the court of public opinion, which is basically the mob mentality that we have, and then there's the actual legal courts, right? That's the one that's going to send him to jail or put him on probation or whatever it could be. And innocent until proven guilty, sure, in the court of law, okay, fine, but I don't need the court of law to come to the conclusion about that. Sure, legally speaking, okay, he's innocent until proven guilty, but come on now. Come on. All because you weren't paid enough or that you were being written out of the show? Well, there you go. Look, the noose has tightened, my friend, around your career, around your life. Not around your neck, but I mean, and so to me, there's a funny aspect to this. It's like karma's a bitch, as we hear, right? What goes around comes around, as people say. But I guess it's kind of one of those things where you think it's the perfect crime, like, aha, this is going to get me. And it's so sinister because, in all honesty, when you think about the troubles that the, the black, African American or black community, whatever term you use, the gay community or LGBT community, these types of groups, you're setting them back because, obviously now when people do come forward to report, and this is, again, a statement that a lot of people have made, is that you're not necessarily going to trust so-called victims of an attack. Right now there's going to be doubt because it happened. Now it's happened. The precedent has been set that something like this can be a lie, and an elaborate lie, no less. And I also personally have, I worked at a publishing company about, not 15 years ago, 12 or 13 years ago. And there was a graphic designer there. And she really, really pissed me off. And not because of, I got along with her, to work with her fine. I was an editor, and she was a graphic designer. But she was one of those people that everything happened to her because she's gay. Everything happened to her because she's a lesbian. Everything, so-and-so's picking on her because she's gay. They were, rude to me at the restaurant because I'm gay. And I feel that is such a weak argument because it's grasping at straws to essentially just, you already have the mentality that you're a victim. That's already my go-to excuse, is that, oh, you know what, yeah, somebody rear-ended me and didn't leave a note on my car because I'm a lesbian. Like, it's things like that, and I just feel you're not a strong person at that point. That just makes you look like you're ready to blame anything, anyone, based on, and again, whether you want to use the term being a minority or, whatever it is, I don't have respect for people that are like that. I really don't. And it's the same thing and on the flip side, if it's not something negative, even if it's, oh, I'm great, I'm fabulous because I'm gay, or oh, I'm a successful YouTube star because I'm gay, and I've had this conversation with so many people that, I'm a radio host who happens to like guys. It's cliche. I'm not a gay radio host. I just don't like that. And it's just like, oh, well, you're a gay author, you're a gay music artist, you're a gay whatever. Well, why don't you then say I'm a white radio host? Like, what does that matter? I don't see the point of that. I'm a radio host. I'm not a blonde radio host. I'm not a blue-eyed radio host. I'm not a 5'11" radio host. I'm a radio host. Why do we need to add that sort of extra, not designation, descriptor? Why do we have to add that descriptor in? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Send me an email. Tell me your thoughts. live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. And so, again, the writing is on the wall now. It looks like Jussie Smollett out of a job on Empire at Fox. But like I said, depending on when you're listening to this, there could already be major developments in the story. So tune into our show Entertainment Wrap-Up for the latest. Now, the Oscars are handed out this weekend, and our friend Nancy O'Dell from Entertainment Tonight is once again joining us to talk about the nominees. There's always some surprises and snubs, and we're going to make some predictions about movies' biggest night as award show season officially comes to an end. Nancy O'Dell joining us on the Scribble right after this.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
It seems like it's been a marathon sprint for the past, 2 months now, with award show season in full swing, almost coming to an end. And our friend Nancy O'Dell from Entertainment Tonight, once again here to talk about the big show, this time the Oscars, the surprises, the snubs, and maybe make some predictions along the way. Hello there, Nancy.
Hello there. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Running around, getting prepared, doing lots of dress fittings as usual. When we have an award show coming up, that's what happens.
Oh, it's a tough life, isn't it?
It sounds easier than it is, actually. You do a lot of studying, too. You have to, know all the things and all the people and which movies they're in. And it gets confusing about this time of year because then there's been SAG, there's been Golden Globes, and you got the Oscars, there's Directors Awards, there's Producers Awards, so it's a little confusing by the time we get to this point.
It's sort of like election night when you see them at the desk and they've got a binder full of papers and they know every statistic about every candidate. It's kind of like that.
It's kind of true, isn't it? It really is, and that's exactly what happens. I have a binder full of stats and facts and note cards and index cards for the big day. You have the person's name on the index card, and then you have all the things underneath it, including all the awards they've already won, or, surprising facts, or if their co-stars are nominated, if, their director's nominated, if the movie's nominated, how many times they've won before, if they won the Golden Globe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, all right. So we couldn't talk Oscars without Lady Gaga. I already hear you squealing, chanting her name. So, we've talked about this the past couple of times, that, she hasn't really had much love in the acting or in the film categories, but at the Grammys, we thought maybe she'd win some for her music. What are you predicting for the Oscars?
Well, I predict that she and Bradley will do, really well in the music category. And, of course, we're so anticipating the performances. And there will be musical numbers from all 5 nominees. That was one controversy going on with the Oscars, because at first we thought there was only going to be a couple of performances, because that's what they initially announced, that they were only going to have 2 of the 5 nominated songs at the ceremony. But then, because everybody criticized them and saying that's not really fair, all 5 needed to perform. And I think Lady Gaga actually said, she didn't want to perform or wasn't going to perform if all 5 nominees were not allowed to perform. So all 5 will be performing, and then there will be at least one extra musical number. So that is something to really look forward to. We were also, waiting for that Bradley and Lady Gaga performance, and then we got it when he surprised her in Vegas, or, they surprised all of us. I'm sure they probably knew it was going to take place, but by hopping up on stage and singing it, and that was kind of a trial run, and it went over well, and he sounded really good, so that was kind of the practice, but this is the big stage, and there's going to be a lot of pressure, and he told us he's so nervous about it. He's really nervous about it, but I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm envisioning the look on your face during the performance is what I'm doing.
I'm literally, that's probably one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to. I don't know what it is. I loved the movie. I was one of the people that loved it. The movie got a lot of different feels from people, is that most people loved it, but there were other people like, it was okay. And I'm like, what do you mean okay? It was fantastic. I loved it. So that's one reason that I'm looking forward to it. And then I like Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper both from doing interviews with them. And their chemistry is just, it's on point. That's like, they just get along so well and seem to adore each other. And I think that will be fun to watch that and see the performance, especially after her Grammy performance, which did not include Bradley Cooper. And it was so rock kind of shallow, if you can say that there's a version of that. So this one will be so different. I think it'll be a lot more toned down, obviously.
I still see her doing that up close camera thing right at the end, where she got right into the camera.
Did you see all the memes that came from that?
Of course.
That was funny.
All right. Now, okay, so let's talk about their categories, though, because they're both up for actor and actress nominations. But Bradley not in there for director.
Yeah, which a lot of people were surprised about, and I feel like he deserves the love in that category, but we certainly had a lot of great nominees in the director category. The actor in a leading role category, obviously the front runner is Rami Malek, because he's kind of walked away from all the award ceremonies, taking home the trophy for Bohemian Rhapsody, his performance there. But there's great people in that category. You got Christian Bale for Vice. You got Bradley Cooper, A Star is Born, Willem Dafoe at Eternity's Gate, and then Viggo Mortensen for Green Book. So that's a strong category. So I'm not so sure he'll walk away with the gold there, but I'm glad that he got the nomination.
Who's taking it for actress? I like them all. I mean, you know what? I love Melissa McCarthy, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that she should be in here in the nominations. But who do you make a prediction? Who's taken the golden lead actress?
I think it's going to be Glenn Close. I think that you think Glenn Close has won all these things before, but ironically, she hasn't. So it's I think everybody knows that she's such a tremendous actress. Also, I think with the storyline that is there, and it being a year for women, I think that she might, take it away for a great performance. So, and she's got huge competition in that category too, including Lady Gaga. But I think they're going to award Lady Gaga for the music versus the acting, even though I thought her acting was tremendous, and therefore that's why I say Bradley should have got a directing nomination, because he directed her.
Of course. So do you think that anybody should be swapped out of lead actress for Emily Blunt? Was she robbed, do you think, for Mary Poppins Returns? Oh, and A Quiet Place, too.
I thought she was amazing in Mary Poppins. I really loved it, because I thought she wanted and purposely did such a different take on Mary Poppins than, the other actresses before, Julie Andrews, and I just thought it was so different. And a lot of people are like, she was too stern as Mary Poppins. And I thought she deserved a nomination. I thought that I would see her in there. I don't know if I would take anybody out of there. I just am surprised that she's not in there, but there are only so many slots. There's only the 5 slots. That's why I think they added so many more for Best Picture, because it wasn't enough.
Right. What about Nicole Kidman, Destroyer and Boy Erased? No love there.
I would vote for Nicole for everything if I could,
Okay.
because she's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet and such a great actress. So I always think she is deserving, but the same thing. It's not that the actresses in the category are not deserving, because they certainly are.
Right.
So there's not anybody that I would sit there and go, I really don't think she deserved it, because I certainly can't say that. I think they're all tremendous in that. And of course, there's, I said Glenn Close, but of course, Lisa that was in Roma is also the other top nominee,
What do you think about a Keith Urban-Lady Gaga duet?
That would be amazing now, wouldn't it?
I think so.
That would be tremendous. Can you make that happen?
No, I was going to say, you make it happen. You're the one who's connected to everybody.
That would be so great.
All right. Okay, so now on the male side of things, on the actor side of things, Black Panther it was a surprise and a snub. Michael B. Jordan, Chadwick Boseman snubbed, but the film did get 7 nominations, mostly in the, I guess they're the technical categories, like the behind-the-scenes categories, right?
Yeah, and it actually is the first Best Picture nominee based on a comic book, so it got a huge recognition that way. And it actually had the highest of the Best Picture nominee numbers, with a $200 million budget, gross sales of over $700 million. So, and a lot of times Oscars doesn't like those big budget films. They just kind of like the more ones that are considered artsy, and that, the big budget ones tend to be left out. So it was nice to see that got included. So I think that was such an ensemble cast. And because it was such a tremendous ensemble cast, sometimes that will hurt a lead actor or supporting actor in a way, because it's looked at as such a cast, picture and, movie. And so I think that may be the reason that we didn't see them in a leading role. But again, they certainly would have been deserving. There is no doubt about that. They did a great job.
What are your thoughts about First Man? Because that, again, got a lot of the technical, none of the big categories, let's call them. Ryan Gosling, Claire Foy, thoughts?
Well, you said Ryan Gosling. Again, I feel like I just love them all, but you're mentioning some of my favorite actors and actresses. So Ryan Gosling is always, he's just such a great, I don't know, I call him, he's such a subtle actor in a way, because you watch his movies and he's not over the top, and he just does it with such finesse, his acting. So he is certainly always deserving. But that's the tough part, because like I said, you look at this category, and I wouldn't say pick anybody out. So it's too bad they're limited to 5. But if we gave them all nominations, then there wouldn't be a competition, would it?
It's one of those give everybody a trophy things.
Exactly. Come on, let's go back to the Little League.
The schoolyard.
Softball.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Okay, so, we've covered some of these. Let's just get to the predictions. So lead actress, you're thinking Glenn Close?
I'm thinking Glenn Close or Yalitza, one of the two.
Okay, lead actor, you said Rami?
Lead actor, I'm going to go with Rami. Yep, Rami Malek.
Okay, best picture.
Best picture, I'm going to go with Roma.
Okay. And I think they did say that at the SAG Awards, right? That it's likely to get an Oscar.
Yeah, I think that it's likely to get an Oscar. I think the other one that might give it, the 2 others that might give it some competition would be Bohemian Rhapsody, possibly, but I think Rami's going to take away the best actor. So I think that will take away some of the votes from the picture, because he will get awarded. And the other one that, a lot of people talked about was Green Book, and did so well,
Right.
So,
right.
but I think that could be awarded in some other ways.
Well, we're almost out of time, and I do want to get to what E.T.'s got coming for viewers this weekend. But I just have a question. We've seen recently a ratings decline when it comes to award shows. And so I'll tell you my thoughts first, and then I want your opinion. I think that we just consume and dispose of things, music, movies, TV, so quickly. And, like I saw First Man, it seems like it was 5 years ago already. And so I guess as a viewer, maybe even a fan, do I really care now if the movie wins an award this long after? Like, it's sort of, I'm already forgotten about it and on to another one.
Right. I see your point.
What are your thoughts?
I don't know if that's the reason for the declining ratings in the award shows. I think it's more that you can just get your news in so many ways. So, whereas if you missed the watching the Oscars before, it was kind of, an event. And now it's like, well, I can find it everywhere. I can find it all over the internet. Who won what? I can see all the video clips. I can watch the whole thing over if I want to. And I think that's more the reason why is people feel like they have such access to the information in the news, and that, if they happen not to watch the actual broadcast, that they can find it somewhere else. It's what I feel like it is.
Okay, yeah.
But it could be what you're talking about, too, because like you said, there's so many. There's also the factor that, like you said, there are so many films, and there are so many TV shows out there now that perhaps everybody's not as familiar with all the nominees because there's so many to watch. I mean, I find it hard to keep up with. I know when I go into Golden Globes and I see all the nominees, I'm like, oh gosh, I got to watch that. I got to watch that whole series. I got to watch that whole series. And it used to be when I started in this business in 1996 that I knew everything up and down, and I had watched all the series left and right because it was just network television. There weren't we didn't have all the Netflix television shows and, things on Amazon. And, there's just so many different ways to watch the different programs, and there's so many more. So your favorite one might not be one of the nominees, and you might not be as interested because it's not one of the ones you're watching because there's so many to choose from.
True. And remember, back in the day, you'd have your TV guide, and you would have, like, that checklist, right? You'd make your predictions.
We so antiquated now, don't we?
We're just that old. But we still look great, don't we? We're old, but we look great.
Age is just a number.
It is. And, E.T. obviously always has the award shows and red carpets covered. So what can we expect on Entertainment Tonight this weekend?
Well, we'll have everything Oscars, after we'll be there covering everything from the award ceremony itself to the interviews with the people on the red carpet to all the fashion to the interviews with the winners afterwards, as well as all the parties. So on Monday for Entertainment Night, it will be full Oscars. So you can tune in then and you can see all the stuff that you didn't see on the telecast or on the internet because we'll have all the behind-the-scenes stuff for you.
Can I ask who are you wearing, or is that or should it be a surprise?
Well, it's down to 2, so I don't know yet, to be honest with you. We're making the decision. We're kind of getting it all together. We usually have a backup because usually I'm so rushed. It's not like walking the red carpet as a nominee or somebody. I'm on the red carpet a lot longer than they are, so your dress kind of has to hold up.
Right.
So we have to have a backup in case something happens. And so we actually had that happen at the Grammys. I had 2, and we couldn't get it zipped at the last minute. I had to go out because I was doing the live pre-show. And we were trying to get it zipped and it had a corset in it. And it's like, can't get it zipped up. And it's like, we got to be out there. It's like, I decided to wear my backup. But I liked it.
See,
so
it is
good. So I got to make the decision. I haven't made the decision as to which one's the front runner right now.
And you said it at the beginning. It's tougher than people think, right?
It's a lot tougher than people think. I mean, I'm not going to complain because it's a good job to have, and I certainly enjoy it. But there's a lot more studying and a lot of things that happen leading up to an award ceremony that people don't realize that I said that I had some event that I needed to do. Oh, I know. I was doing something for my daughter's softball team, and I said, hey, before the Grammys, I said, listen, I won't be able to get this to you until I get done with the Grammys. I said, because I got to memorize all these cards. And I said, there's about 200 of them. And they were like, gosh, I didn't even think about that. That's true. You got to memorize all those people and be familiar with them, especially because we were live at the red carpet show. And I may only get, 15 to 20 people for the live red carpet show, if that. Mm-hmm. But yet you got to know all 200 people coming up because you don't know who you're going to get.
Well, and timing. And you had Dolly Parton, so hello. I mean, that's all you needed.
Well, I mean, exactly. I should just throw the rest of the cards away.
Done. We're done. 2 minutes in, we're out. Let Kevin.
Throw them all away.
Kevin can do the filler.
I had Dolly Parton.
He can do the stretching. Yeah,
Dolly Parton in a little big town. I'm good. My country people.
Then you do the mic drop and walk off, right?
Exactly.
All right.
And then we did have Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez. So there you go. Add that in there. Totally do the mic drop.
Yeah. Oh no, who's Jennifer Lopez? Oh, that's a Mariah Carey thing, isn't it?
Compared to Dolly Parton, right? You're like,
wow. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. Make me a promise that if you tear up during the Lady Gaga performance, you'll snap a picture and tweet it.
Okay, I will. I promise you I will do that. And I probably will.
All right.
If it's as beautiful as that picture is going to be.
Yeah, all right. You'll filter it and whatever, right? Glam it up a bit, too.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
I'll leave it here.
Nancy O'Dell from Entertainment Tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good to talk to you. Take care.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
And speaking of the Twitter, I am live tweeting the Oscars Sunday night, so follow along at Jeremy D. Bradley. Jeremy, the letter D, Bradley. And Monday with The Bachelor. Oh my. I get into trouble live tweeting that. But again, follow along Monday nights as I live tweet The Bachelor. My thanks to Nancy O'Dell for joining us. And if you've got some thoughts about the whole Jussie Smollett case, and if you're sick of hearing about it, I definitely want to hear from you. My email address, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. Talk to you next week. Bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,